My name's Tara McLennan. I'm the Centre Coordinator of Murraya Children's Centre.
And my name's Sarah Lloyd. I'm the manager of Murraya Children's Centre. So our philosophy here at Murraya is around play-based learning, but incorporated into that play-based learning is the environment. And so that's not only a love of the environment and sustainability, but it's also in the care and the thought and the processes that go into setting up our environment. So we think a lot about learning and what children are going to learn, and then think about the spaces and where that learning is going to occur. We're looking for creativity, imagination, we're looking for numeracy and literacy through play.
We do have an indoor-outdoor, so our veranda doors are open.
So we have spaces within the indoors, but we also have equally spaces within the outdoors. So they're like outdoor rooms, I guess would be the way of describing them. So all educators would contribute to that from the educational program, and then that space will be created to facilitate that learning. We tend to try and source our equipment locally, but we tend to stay away from commercial education suppliers. When we think about equipment, we're thinking about how can it be used in multiple ways over multiple experiences. In the design of the spaces, one of the things that we consider is adult interactions as well as children's interactions. Obviously children are at the centre of everything we do, but in order to facilitate that, that involves also catering for the adults.
And I think by also doing that, we're also creating spaces for families to be able to sit and interact with their children.
One of the easiest ways we say to explain to people is if you wouldn't do it in your own lounge room, well, we wouldn't do it here.
So we provide care for children from birth to 5. So we have 4 different rooms. So we have our infants, our toddlers, our kinder and our preschool. So part of our pedagogy and our curriculum is that we do critically reflect on our practice and our thinking and our beliefs behind what it is that we're doing here at Murraya. We attended the Early Childhood Australia National Conference, and that got us thinking about technology in the early years and what that might look like for children between the ages of 2 and 3.5.
There's lots of information for preschool, but there's actually very limited information about what that looks like for 2 to 3-year-olds and how they would engage with technology. Is it okay for an iPad to be a play object that children do have autonomy over and that they can go and pick up an iPad, or is that something that should only be used as a tool with educators? It's actually a simple question with a very big answer, and we are still working our way through that.
We don't have a stop and start routine. Everything is progressive. They have access to cold running water cups. They have access to the fridge to get their water bottles. Our routines such as meal times, and it's all progressive. There's that flow that children can sit and have morning tea, or if those other children are still interacting or engrossed in an experience, they can wait a little bit longer to finish that before they then go up and have morning tea or lunch or afternoon tea.
One of the things with Murraya is it's evolved over time. So when we opened in 2008 and we really considered how we were going to provide quality education and care for children, but also create a positive working space for educators as well. Part of our philosophy is around seeing children as being competent and capable. Within some level of age-appropriate boundaries, if you give children that responsibility and you view them as being capable, there's a follow-through how they behave and how they interact with our environment.
So we have 2 resident cats. Also we have chickens, as well as ducks, rabbits, fish. And children have access to all of our animals and take part in the care practices as well, and looking after our animals.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but we do have a lot of plants and objects that could potentially be damaged. But because we have high expectations that we care for it and we respect the environment.
The children do too.
There is a number of practices that we would consider when we're arranging our environment in regards to it being hot, or if it's during the build-up and it's definitely getting hotter. That would be things in the hottest part of the day. We may stay on the veranda. You have the option to go out off the veranda, but we might consider we might need to rearrange our spaces on our verandas to accommodate a greater number of children. We may engage in water play. One thing we don't do is go inside. That we try and accommodate the weather in different ways than going inside. We do have a child-initiated educational program, but within the bounds of that is intentional teaching. So I think it's a balancing act. I wouldn't like to say everything's child initiated, but I also wouldn't say that everything's educator initiated. It's a partnership between the two where everyone's learning together.